Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an SU-122-44. It's a Tier 7 Soviet premium tank destroyer. It's located on the north spawn of Minsk and it's under the command of Smooth932. Now this is an assault tank destroyer, not a standard tank destroyer. Sit at the back, hide and fire in at long range. No, this is one that gets in your face and shoots you right in the front. It's got a very well angled front, as you can see there, and that helps deflect some of the shells that actually come in its direction. It's built on the hull of a T-44, which was a medium tank that the Soviets built, but they didn't build a lot of them because they discontinued the line in favour of other tanks that they had in production, such as the T-54 and the T-55A. But the T-44 is a decent tank destroyer. It's a premium tank destroyer. And it's got a 122mm gun. Obviously that's where the name comes from, SU-122-44. And it's capable with the standard rounds doing 390 alpha, penetrating 175mm of armour. And with the APCR it goes through 217. Now, I think most people who play this tank destroyer actually play it with the HE rounds rather than the premium rounds, and the armour piercing. But you can see here that Smooth932's loaded no HE rounds whatsoever. Normally you get 530 alpha off the HE rounds or penetrate 64mm of armour, but the main benefit of these 122mm rounds, the HE ones, is that they do module damage to the enemy, and that means that your enemy slowly gets whittled away until eventually they're so badly damaged that they cannot fight you. He fired an APCR round right into the side of the tracks, but he was seen by the T-29. He has to pull back into cover, otherwise, yeah, he will start receiving fire, and he knocked that tree down as he came back. I know a lot of players like to use this little area here, knock the trees down and use those for artificial cover. Now he's looking down at the VK3601H and the Jagdpanther. He should be able to pen those, but unfortunately the gun does not have great dispersion. Well, does have poor dispersion. He did get the hit there on the VK, auto-aimed onto him and got it that way. And he's going for the top of the turret of the T-29, which is the weak spot. But I think he'll have trouble with that. Probably better off just firing for the T-43 and the Jagdpanther. Nope, didn't get that one either. That's why it's actually much easier to fire at close range to the enemy with the HE rounds, because then you can do a lot of damage to them right in their face. He would have a lot of difficulty trying to pen the turret of the T-29 unless he hits the weak spot, but you see he didn't aim for the weak spot there and it just bounced off the turret. Still trying to get the positioning right. T-43, oh, good shot! He got that one. Unfortunately, our teammate in the Ferdinand's just got wiped out. And a Cromwell got wiped out on the other side of the battlefield. The Jagdpanther comes into sight again. Briefly. Will he pull back? And the 3601H, another 3601H has come up. This is when it was back, when it was, well, it is still a heavy tank actually. It's the 3001H that's the medium now. That one hit the target. We don't know how much damage it did, but it definitely hit the 3601H. He's burning through a lot of APCR rounds on this game. Now we can't see the T-29. Oh, there he is. He's actually pulled back. So Smooth's pulled back to use the bush mechanic. He's going to have another go. He might be able to hit the body of the tank, and that is a weak spot. But he didn't get through that one. I think the shell went high and hit the turret instead. And the VK3601H is trying to come around the corner. And the Jagdpanther. Nope, didn't get that one in. Now he should get it. Oh, unfortunately didn't. He's only got 14 hit points left, that Jagdpanther. He can't see him, but he's now out the game. But the kill shot actually went to the M6. And the T-29's been killed as well by our IS-3. So he's decided to move up alongside the M6. The score's still 6-all, and in fact actually the enemy seems to be doing rather well on the other side of the battlefield. But they're pushing on this side. He's going to try and get around the corner. He has been spotted. It's that FE-4202 that's the problem, and he takes around from a Stura Mill who he couldn't see. He was further up the road. He was being spotted by the FE-4202, and that's how he managed to get that shot in. The FE-4202 pulls back behind the building now because he knows that he could be damaged by Smooth, and so now he is free and clear to make a move up this road, but he's going to have to deal with that Stura Mill first. Okay, comes into sight. The Stura Mill's behind that truck. He's auto-aimed on. Fires around in that direction. It goes through the truck and loses some of its power, but the enemy is still there. Fires it into the body, gets 362 from that shot. Low roll. The Stura Mill fails with his shot back, and now he's going to fire again through the trucks, or through the buses. That shell just demolished the bus. It's going to do it again. Hit him in the tracks, but he's now very low on hit points. He also aims on. He's actually manually aiming it, and the kill shot goes to the Jagdpanzer IV. Now the enemy's one tank up, and now they're actually starting to encroach on our cap area. Two Skoda T-25s are very, very close to our cap, and there's no enemy in this area except that IS-3, and he's further out in the field. So it's kind of like they've come all this way to try and seize the cap, but there's no enemy around. I think he's trying to move up and try and get sight of that IS-3 so he can take shots at him. The big worry though is that FE-4202. He doesn't know where that guy is. He did pull back. Oh, he's out in the field as well. He's with the IS-3. Yeah, he's locked on. Okay, he's going to try and creep up on these guys and shoot them in the side. Okay, he's auto-aiming for the FE-4202 at the moment. Has to move closer because of the building and the fence. He can't get shots on either of them. They are behind that that ridgeline, and the FE-4202 managed to get a shot on him. So did the Super Hellcat on the enemy team. This is a pretty bold position. There are 3 tanks down on the enemy now. He's being shot by a Super Hellcat he can't see. And the FE-4202 managed to get around into him, 218. So he's only got about 2/3 of his hit points left. And you can see them out in the field. They're just behind that round plinth. There, that's where the tank destroyers normally go. He can see the FE-4202, but he auto-aimed on, and if he did try to shoot him there, he probably wouldn't get the hit. Now somebody is capping in the enemy's cap. And here comes the heavy tank number 6. He takes him out with one shot. He wasn't seen. Now the enemy's capping at our end, but we've got some tanks that can go back and do some damage to get rid of him, get the reset. We really need to get rid of that FE-4202, help our team cap out. Oh, somebody's got a reset on them. I'm pretty sure it's that FE-4202. Smooth keeps moving forward to take a shot, but then pulls back. There's the IS-3. Okay, now he's moving. Could just see the top of his turret there. He's pulled back to use the bush mechanic. If he'd shot where he did, the IS-3 would have fired at him. He's lost sight of him now. This is awkward. He's trying to ambush that FE-4202, but the IS-3 keeps popping into view and ruining it. And the FE-4202 is getting closer and closer to our T-29, and now the IS-3 has managed to sneak past him, so now he can clearly shoot into their sides. The auto-aim's on, and and fires his first one. It fails to do any damage whatsoever, and he was seen. To avoid any return fire, he's pulled back behind the building. Now we are up, or almost capped out, but he still needs to get some shots on these guys. He's going for the Super Hellcat. That's better. 382, low roll. Go for another shot. You'll take him out with the next one. Oh, didn't. Low roll, 341. It should have killed him, and he's been spotted again. And we've lost the T29 in the cap. But the scores are now even, and the guy at the other end who was capping for the enemy team has been destroyed. So we now do have some support. Smooth is not the only one down here. There's a Jagdpanzer 4, an IS-3 is on the bridge at this moment, and an M4A3 Easy-8 is on his way. There's the FV4202. He could try a shot on that guy. Except, of course, he's hull down. He's actually in one of those gaps. One of those pathways. Likewise with the IS-3, he can't see them. It's at times like this you wish you had Arty on your team, so you could sort of like force them to move out those gaps. But no, Smooth hasn't got a target, and he's searching for an auto aim, but he just can't get it. It might be easier for him to actually go around the buildings, come up behind these guys and shoot them in the ass. The Super Hellcat on the enemy team has moved back to the west side of the map, and the IS-3 and the Easy-8 are moving in on him. Hopefully they'll be able to take him out. The IS-3 on the enemy team is trying to go for the bridge, and he's auto-aimed on. And he takes him out from behind. That's an important kill. And now he can go in your face on the FV4202 if he wanted to. He's got the support of the Jagdpanzer 4. The other guys are going in after the Super Hellcat. There's the FV4202. There's still one other enemy we haven't seen. That's the SU-122-44. Well, I think actually he's not really engaging in the battle at all, really. The guy doesn't have any kills, and I think he might be AFK over on the other side of the map. He's auto-aimed on and auto-aimed off. There's the top of the turret of the FV4202. You're not going to get through the turret easily. It's a very tough turret. And then you can see where the guy's manoeuvring. They've dealt with the Super Hellcat, so now it's only the FV4202 and the SU-122-44. There he is! Other side of the battlefield, locks on, auto-aim, fires one in, gets a hit. Low roll, 366. The guy's still alive, but he's moving. Needs to do a leading shot. Oh, the kill goes to the Easy-8. And that means the last one alive on this side is the FV4202, but he just killed our Jagdpanzer 4, who went round the houses to try and come in behind him. Now, Smooth's trying to do the same. Now, it's at times like this that you wish he had a few HE rounds available. He's only got one round of APCR left, and there's the FV4202. He's going to come straight in and shoot him in the ass, and that wins the game. And it's all over, bar the shouting, and he's doing his victory dance. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats and see how this one played out. Well, ace tanker for Smooth, 932 in the SU-122-44. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5. He got a 1 short of getting a top gun. He got a 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 8. And he got a high caliber for the battle hero medal for getting the most damage in the game, at least 20% of the enemy hit pool. And his win rate from the battle was 9,315, which is super unicum and a bit more. And it's not the first ace tanker he's had in this vehicle. He's had them before. If we look at the team score, we can see 3,717 hit points of damage. The next high scorer being the FV4202 on the enemy team, who got 2,730, and he picked up a defender by resetting the cap on that T29. The next high scorer on damage with the IS-3 on his own team with 2,428 hit points of damage. and followed by the Skoda T25, the Leather Slaves medal on the enemy team with 2022. When it came to kills, he shared the top spot with the IS-3 on his own team. They both had 5 kills apiece. They could have platooned and they would have got a brothers in arms together. In fact, if they'd all platooned with the Easy 8, they would have had a crucial contribution as well, because only 6 members of his own team actually got kills in that game. Yes, he got the top mount with the IS-3, and then these guys, well, they just filled in the spaces, so to speak. When it came to base XP, yes, he's got the top on that one as well. 1,405, 1,076 for the IS-3, and these were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the entire game. 931 by the T29. Good effort by him. Unfortunately, he tried to hold the cap alone, and he just couldn't do so in the end because they took him out. Smooth fired 25 rounds in the game, got 15 direct hits, 11 penetrations, damage of 3,717 hit points, of which 3,060 were at more than 300 meters, and he received 3 hits, 1 penetration, 1 non-penetration, and 1 hit by way of splash damage. 240 hit points of damage blocked by armour. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 5, and did 895 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 103,230 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, and he did fire a huge amount of APCI, he actually made a huge loss of 19,673 credits. Now, normally I would actually say, oh, well, that's not a big loss, but it is really, because if he'd actually fired HE or standard AP, he would have had a lot better results, I think. To be honest, he did get an ace tanker using AP and APCR, but the problem is that this tank really does work better. This tank destroyer works far better with HE rounds on the enemy, and the reason for that is it's an assault tank. It's designed to knock down bunkers and buildings, and in taking on the enemy, you're far better off causing module damage to them and effectively rendering them helpless, and then finishing them off with either an AP round or an APCR afterwards. 2,107 XP. 8,432 for completing the mission and events, and 422 for this being a premium vehicle. He took away 10,961 experience points altogether. So the SU-122-44, I have them myself on several accounts. It's actually a very good tank destroyer, but if you try to play it like a conventional tank destroyer, I think you will find that the gun lacks a lot of say damage potential. If you try to fire it from bushes from a long distance away with AP rounds and APCR, you might have difficulty trying to get those shells into the target. As you saw in this battle, Smooth was having a lot of difficulty trying to pen the enemy T29 that was actually hiding behind the monument. But the moment they came out to the open, it was much easier for him to get a shot into the target, because then the dispersion does not matter. But this thing does have dispersion, and that's why HE rounds are so much better with it, because it doesn't matter if the shell does not hit a weak spot. With an HE round, it's going to do a lot of damage. And remember, it's a 122mm HE round, which means it's going to do a lot of damage. It has got the potential to one-shot enemy tanks out the game if they're low enough damage. And although it's tier 7, it could come up against tier 5 and tier 6 tanks, in which case the armor is going to be thin enough for an HE round to do the maximum. Anyway, this was a good game by Smooth. He kept his cool, he stayed in his position for as long as he could, and of course he didn't expose himself to the FV4202 or the enemy IS-3 and let them make the mistakes of actually putting themselves in a position where he could take them out fairly easy. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.